Hello, 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 everybody. Cisco Live. Okay. Oh, this is Mary. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mary D Talk Show. I was looking there was a note that was coming up there. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to miss anything. Welcome back to another beautiful Monday. What can I tell you? Uh-oh, lost one of my lights, ladies and gentlemen. Another beautiful Monday. Today is August the 5th. Can you believe that? We are we are over halfway finished with the year. I cannot believe 2024 is flying by like that or like this, but here we are. I want to first thank our executive producer, Albert Welch. Hi, babe. Those of you that have met Albert, you met him during Christmas time. He's in the background, he's still there working hard. And I'd like to thank you, our live viewers. Hi, live viewers. Thank you, our replay viewers. Hi, replay viewers. You guys mean so, all of you mean so much. You have no idea. Coming to the show, supporting the show. Many of you are on the email list. The emails I went out, they went out about a couple hours ago today. What I have found is that I think you guys like them closer to the show time. And honestly, you tell me what to do. So when you say, Mary, you send it out a week in advance, I'm on to something else. And what you did when you said those kind of things, you encouraged me to know, oh, okay, then I need to adjust and make sure I send out closer to the show time. So thank you for those comments. If you email, those of you that email me, um, if you call, if you text, whatever you're doing, if you haven't already noticed, I try either I do or somebody from the team does. We definitely respond. We try to respond. We're not oblivious to your comments. So just that you know that. I'd like to thank you for our sponsors. That is number one, the Idea Club, theideaclub.com. You can go there if you're looking for an S Corp, a C Corp, 501c3. It's the Idea Club. You can reach them there. If you are looking to write a book, you can go to frontpagepublishing.com, and Front Page Publishing can help you write your book if you're interested in that. You can actually, and I guess I don't talk about this much. Let's say you have an idea for a book. And this has happened quite a bit actually. You have an idea for a book, but you don't have the time to write the book. How many people are like that? You have an idea, but your time, your schedule is so impacted. Writing the book is not something you have time to do. Now, let me tell you what we can do for you. That's one of those people. That's called ghostwriting. Ghostwriting. So if you're one of those people who say, well, I want a book and I know what I want to write, I have the ideas, or I have notes. That's another thing. I've actually had authors come to me and say, I just have notes. That's all they have. And I said, okay, believe it or not, I can work with that. They're like, you're kidding. I'm like, nope. That's all I just need to know what's the tone. Where are we going with this? What's, as they say, what's the end game? What do you want? What do you want? How do you want the story to end? You'd be amazed. But I say that because we do sign legal paperwork that says I will never take responsibility for it, or my team, anybody. It is your project or your book. It's nothing that we're going to ever say that we wrote or had anything to do with. But I don't talk about it much. It's funny. Usually people approach me about it and they'll say, "Do you ghostwrite?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we ghostwrite." So I just wanted to share that with you. Also, as going with going back to the sponsors, um, what I said that I did say not First Fridays. I said First Book Academy. No, I said Front Page Publishing. The Academy is what we put when you are writing your book. It's under the Academy. Those of you that are interested in writing. But I will tell you, it has really been a pleasure. Many of you know we have a couple of books coming out. I just this morning, just today, just got the final draft for one of the books. So if you've been watching the emails on the book is when I was on the moon. When I tell you, it takes it takes a few months. Let me say that because remember, all the books you see are illustrated, so it takes a little while, not a lot, but it takes some time. First of all, you have to have a story. That's number one. Second, you need an illustrator. So until you have your story together, I'll speak for me. There's no reason to hire an illustrator if you don't have a story yet. So those are the two things. And it takes time because remember, the illustrator is taking your words and bringing them to life. So that's what I'm always, working with the illustrators, actually constant. And uh, and I'm gonna share with you guys the book for our granddaughter, one of our granddaughters. The goal is all of right now. I think we're missing one on the children, and that's Stephanie. I have her book title. In fact, I think I wrote her book. I just haven't had the illustrator. That's for Stephanie's book. But Nasea's book is, I thought Nasea's book was done. Nasea, I sent her the, I'm laughing, but it's the truth. I sent Nasea the book. Think about this. The book, I just sent it to her. I just thought she'd be just elated. Her book is on, her name is on the cover. I didn't hear from her. It's one of our grandchildren. I'm laughing because I'm thinking, I don't know what I would have given for my grandmother to have written a book, and my name is on the cover of that book. My mind, I cannot even fathom that. If you be honest, I just can't imagine that. But anyway, so I told I sent it to Nasea and didn't hear from her. And then I called her and I said, Nasea, did you get the book? And she said, yeah, I got the book now. I said, well, what did you think? She got quiet. And she said, Nana, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I'm on the phone going, what? It's like, you have a book with your name on it, and you don't want to hurt my feelings. And she goes, no. And I said, what's wrong with the book? And said, well, and she said, Nana, where's the conflict? I sat there literally in shock, to be honest with you, because I had just shared with one of the sons that I felt that the book wasn't. Think about this now. Maybe a week earlier, I told him, I looked at the book and I said this. I said, something is missing from this book. And he goes, well, Mom, what's missing? It's a good story. He's telling me his opinion of it. And I said, I just know something's missing. Now I'm saying these words, but not putting them in the way she put it. She was very, succinct when she said, she goes, Nana, there's no conflict. She said, it's a cute story, but there's no conflict. And I said, well, Nasea, I'm going to have to scrap the book then. She goes, you're kidding. I'm going, nope. And she goes, what does that mean? I said, I'm going to call the illustrator and let him know I can't use that book. And she goes, I'll give you the money back now, until I told her how much it was. And then all of a sudden, you're like, no, I knew I wasn't going to take any money from her anyway. But the point was, I said, and she said, so you are going to lose that money? I said, yeah. Yep. And she goes, why? I said, because it's not worth it to me. When you are, and I say all of you that are creatives, I'm sure I'm talking to creatives. I already know, because you all are creative, because you all have a story. If that book does not resonate with the author, remember, I'm the author. I knew, think about what I'm saying. I knew it was missing something. I just didn't know what the something was, because I wrote the book and I'm thinking, oh yeah, it sounds pretty good type thing. But at the same time, knew something was missing. So when I sent it to the granddaughter and she says, so she knew what was missing. It was like, wow. She could pinpoint it. So I would tell you, to all of you, always have other people read your work. Don't be afraid of letting people read it. I think we don't like people or want people to read it because we don't want the criticism. I'm going to speak for me. Criticism is real. Don't ever think it isn't. So I would tell you, people don't want the criticism. They don't want to be criticized. But I don't want to be criticized either. I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't want to be criticized. I'm no different from all of you guys. But to hear Nasea 17, to hear her say that, it was in a lot of ways, I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her because she could pinpoint. She could tell me. I remember I couldn't even tell you what it was. I just knew it was something. I just kept reading the story going, there's something missing here. There's something missing. And I could not put my finger on what it was. It's interesting. So I said that all to say to all of you. First, remember, in order to edit a story, you have to have one. Don't be afraid to write your story, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to write any story, because that's why they have editors. I tell people that all the time. People go, well, I have this idea, and they don't write it down. I've talked to people. This one gentleman told me he had 100 ideas. And all I asked him was one question: how many have you written down? He said, none. I said, sir, you don't have any ideas. And his whole countenance changed when I said that. I didn't say it to hurt his feelings. I actually said it so he would write it down. But I have all these ideas, all these movies. I have all this. And I said, he has no clue. I knew then. And at the time he said it, I wasn't even writing movies. I just knew I knew what it took to write a book, much less a movie. So I would tell any of you, you can do it. You can do it. I promise you can. I always say if I learn how to do it, but I've taken classes. Well, let me go back. I have never taken a class on writing a children's book. Let me tell you that now. Never. Not one. That is definitely a gift from God. I will say that. Now, I have taken screenwriting classes to write movies or to write movies more so than plays. But I've taken classes to learn how to do that. But never went one on writing a children's book. That has truly been innate. But hear Nasia say that, because I had written her story a couple of times, by the way. And she said, what happened to the other story you wrote, Nana? I thought, wow. I was just saying, She goes, what happened to that story? That story was more interesting. And I said, okay, Nasia, I'm going to go back and get the other story. I still had it. I just thought, well, this is a little more upbeat, or taught me a good lesson, a very good lesson about writing. So I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, just write. There's no secret to it. It really isn't. Any of you can do it if that's what you want to do. And you may say, well, this is what I hear often. I don't know what to write about. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some writing prompts real quick, but that's not what we're talking about today, but I'm just going to give you some. Go through your house and pick 5 different things. It can be a shoe. It can be a pen. It can be paper. It can be a clock. Did I give you 5 yet? 4, I think that's 4. It can be a glove. Write about those things. That's it. Now, and I'm saying that to you because the hardest part is to start. The hardest part is to start. But it takes time. I would tell anybody. The stories I've written, they didn't come overnight, but they came. But they only came because I wrote down that first story. That's all. So I would tell you to do the same. So I like to now say, hi, Charles. And hi, Nanette. Hold it. Oh, there we go. Hi, Charles. And hi, Nanette. Nice to see you. Nice of you to come to the show today. Today's show is interesting. Many of you I've already seen, I'm sure you saw the topic because I sent it out. Let me see. Hold on. And I will, because it is, for me, hold on. I'm sitting up here. I got 2 things going on at once. Okay. I'll do it. I can't just do one thing. You know that, right? But anyway, I said, let me go on and take this. It popped up in the box. I'm like, what? That quick? But these things happen. But I will start. Okay. What I want to talk to you about today was, things happen in all of our lives. I don't think there's anyone that things don't happen to. And I want to go over with us because we don't always, I'm going to go over 10 things, but I'll try and make them quick. So we don't, because sometimes I go over things, I never get halfway. I get halfway through it and can't finish it. And you know how that goes. But how are ways, let me see. Here are 10 ways to deal with life-changing events and adjust to a new normal. Think about what that means. Um, Now, some of you may say, if you've never been through a life-changing event, I'm not saying it. Everybody has. I've been through so many of them, so I can't even count them. That's the truth. I'm not just saying that. Um, how, what is it? Let me just go over first of all. What is a life-changing event? A life-changing event, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me get this up before I go on. A life-changing event is something you have no control over. That's what I consider life changing event. You have no control over it. I'll use me as an example. One life changing event I had was at 35. I was widowed. I had no control over that. It was nothing I could do one way or the other. Another life changing event I had was our home burned down. We lost our home to a fire. Life changing. Didn't have any control over that. It wasn't anything I particularly did or anything like that. It just happened. Came home from a Boy Scout meeting and did not have a place to live. All these true stories, life changing. But if you really think about it, even having a child is a life changing event. Whether it's your first, your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth, whatever, the number. But every time you have an addition to your family, that's a life changing event. So life changing events, going to school or going back to school is a life changing event. As you can see, my nose is itching today. I don't know why. Those are life changing events. Getting married is a life changing event. Getting a divorce is a life changing event. There's so many life changing events you could have. Let's say, anybody's gone skiing, or you don't have to even go skiing, but something happens where you break your leg or arm, or anything. Those are life changing events. You lose a parent, life changing event. You buy a house, life changing event. You sell a house, life changing event. There's so many life changing events. Um, but how do you deal with it? How do you deal with those life changing events? Because sometimes, and I can tell you, some of mine, I don't think I dealt with them well. I don't. I think I had to learn. I had to go to therapy at different times in my life to deal with it, because I need to talk to somebody, because it became too overwhelming for me. I know when my first husband passed, and my doctor told me, he said, "You're going to go to something to replace this pain." He said, he said, "You're either going to go to alcohol." This is how, now I'm in the doctor's office. You're going to go to alcohol, you're going to go to drugs, you're going to go to sex, but you're going to go to something. And this is from the doctor. And I told him, I said, I'm going to God with this. I cannot be out of my mind, or out, just crazy or whatever. And he goes, "Okay, I just want you to know you're going to something." And I said, "Okay." But they gave me so much, literally a shopping bag full of medicine. I took the shopping bag and I went out to the States and I threw it in the trash. Because he's writing all these subscriptions and telling me they're all addictive. I said, now I get hooked on that stuff. I'm a be. So at that time I said, no, I'm not doing that. Nose itching. Really? What did you say, Nanette? Oh, I'm sorry. And then I'm not sure it's Charles. You can control having a child or getting married. You can't control that, but they're still life changing, Charles, even though you can control it. Now think about it. There may be, you can control it to a certain extent. And everybody knows when it comes to weddings, people kind of lose it. They get way out of pocket, as they say. So but it is life changing. I agree. I don't disagree with you. So, but okay, but like I said about the fire, I had no control over that. None. And lost the house to a fire. That's true. I still remember that. Of coming home, and I think I shared that with you guys. We came around the corner, and my children were on the car with me. But when we came around the corner, and I said this. I said, "It's too bad." I said, "I'm so sorry what happened to our neighbors," because the fire engines were lined up on the street, and I didn't know I was the neighbor. So I'm a witness. You just don't know. And you said you can control buying a house. You can, but it's still life changing. It's still it still is changing your environment. Um, it could change what you're paying for rent or for a mortgage or whatever. Years ago, when we went to purchase, we went from ours tripled. We went from a one rent, I think it was like six something, to over 1,500 a month. And at that time, 15, not that I don't want to sound like 1,500 is not a lot of rent. I will tell you this though. At that time, the mortgage was exorbitant. People were like, what? That was just so, it was the average at that time. I think I want to say for a mortgage was even like, let's say 1,000, maybe 1,200. So it was definitely one of those out of the box kind of things. So I would tell you, it's really, really interesting how things have changed. Now people be glad for that type thing. Just times have changed. That's all there is to it. Our society has changed. And what you say, Nanette? You chose, was that a picture? I can't tell. I think it's a baby face. I'm not sure. I'm not for sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the I had. Let me see if I have them now, because I know. Let's see the PowerPoints. Nope, I don't think I can bring it up. I had them, and then now, did I download it? Okay, I'll let her know. Okay, now let me go back over those. The one thing I would tell you is when you're going through things like this, and I will be the first to say, did I do these things? I don't think I did a lot of them, but now years later, I'm a little wiser, I guess you could say, and I try to be more focused on these things. One is acknowledging your feelings. Acknowledge your feelings. When you are adjusting to a new normal, usually the feelings are kind of like all over the place because this is not the normal that you're used to. Whatever that normal is, this isn't it. So let's say and I agree with everything you're saying, Charles, because even if it's a wedding, now you're going to be sharing your space with someone you may not have, that has different ideals about what that means. It could be even sharing meals, and then what does that mean? It could mean so many things. How are you guys going to share your finances? All of those things are involved, as you know. When you're though you may be able to control getting married that day, there's so many things that come after that are not controllable, uncontrollables, I guess you say. You can control them. I'm trying to think. You can control them, but now you have a partner. So that changes things. So that's one. And it says accept and validate your emotions. It's normal to feel a range of emotions when faced with a significant change. So when you're faced with a significant change, accept those emotions, validate those emotions. I think the biggest thing is don't deny those emotions because they're real and they're there. Just don't deny them. Don't say, oh, no, I don't really feel like that. Or I don't really, you probably do. That kind of thing. When you're going through a change, another one I didn't include too, and you may agree or disagree with this, Charles, is job. If you change a job, this is what I have found. Even if you're on the same job, but you change departments. Have you anybody been through that? Now, the department you were in, you still probably have the same friends from that department, but now you're in a new department and you have to learn the personalities from that new department. I can speak of in education, I changed schools 3 times, 2 times. Yeah, I went from the middle school to the high school, then I went from one high school to another high school in our district. But when you make those changes, it's still a lot to learn. It's still, every time you have a whole new, I went from a middle school to a high school. That's a whole different culture. It's an entirely different culture, for sure. And then I was at one high school, I did what you could say a lateral. I went from one high school to another high school in our district. Same school district, but just another high school in the district. It was a change. And anytime even though these were, I requested those, by the way. I asked for the changes. Don't ask me why, because I look back, I do know why. One, it was, I guess you could say it was a promotion. I think so. Yeah. And so it was going from the middle school to the high school. The second one, you could say, was a lateral. I was a history teacher at one high school and I became a history teacher at another high school. So it wasn't like I went up or down or anything like that. It was just right across, that kind of thing. I had been at the same high school for over almost 20 years. And I said, I think it may be time for a change. You've been here for 20 years. I did learn something though. Let me tell you that. Let me share this with you too. When I was the high school I'd been for almost 20 years, I remember this. The school I had been to for almost 20 years. When we had a meeting, one thing I noticed, people listened they listened and they used them, my ideas at that meeting. Okay, let me tell you how that worked. So we would go to the meeting. It didn't matter what my ideas were. If they were, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I said anything crazy, but I'm saying they were welcomed. It was well received. Let me say that. I'm laughing because I remember the day when I changed high schools and I went to that meeting. Now I had been there about, I think, well, maybe let's say 6 months. And I went to that meeting and I said at that meeting, and at first I didn't say anything. To be honest, for 6 months, I didn't say anything, just so you know. I intentionally didn't say anything. I was the newbie when I changed high schools. And I totally understood that. I didn't say anything. I just would go to the meeting, sit down, take notes, and leave. And then I think in one meeting, I finally said something. Well, somebody asked my opinion, I think. That's what we had, probably was more like that than it was me saying something. But I sat there and I said, whatever it was, I said. And I can't remember what it was. I just remember it being dismissed. And I sat there and I remember thinking, so this is what new people felt like at your school. I remember that feeling of when new people came to our school and they would bring ideas and stuff like that. You know what we did? Dismissed it. Not intentionally, but I remember it. I remember these things because we had authority. We were the veteran teachers. We had been there, like I said, I'd been there almost 20 years. So when you have that kind of seniority, very few people are going to say anything. You, as they say, you've earned it. You've earned the ability to be there. So, but I remember that feeling of, it was too funny. I sat there and I said, well, now you get to know what this feels like. But nobody else knew I thought that. But I knew I thought that. I said, now you get to know. So it taught me to be humble. That's what it taught me. That being humble. Because even when I was talking to the other teachers at the school, I remember thinking, even as I was speaking to them, remember I'd been there about, no, but by the time I started talking, it had been about a year. I didn't talk for about a year easily, because you don't come in trying to tell people how to do things. I don't come in telling people anything. Number one, because it's like, who are you? Who are you to come in and tell us how to do anything? And don't think people don't think like that, because they do think like that. So I remember thinking, only thing you can do right now is sit back and learn. So, but Charles, I agree with all the other ones you said. And like I said, I'm throwing a job into. And Nanette, let's see, you said it's an I don't know emoji. Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't know what that was. I can't remember the old saying, having a child is often unexpected, even when you're trying to get pregnant. I like that. Nanette. It's true, because it's another addition to the family, and the family adjusts to that no matter what. This is something I said a long time ago, and I still say it. The youngest person in the household runs the household. Think about what that means. The youngest person in the household runs the household. So if it's a baby, that baby runs that household because everybody is going to cater to that baby. Everybody doesn't, as long as you walking and talking. If that baby starts crying, somebody's gonna pick the baby up because they don't want the baby crying. Somebody's gonna feed the baby. Somebody's gonna hold the baby. The youngest person, and I saw that where was I this week? And I saw like 3 babies. Oh, I was traveling, and I was in one of the travel lounges. It was so many people with babies. I was like, I'm looking around, but there were young couples, and it was really cute too to see that. And some of those babies were like little Gerber babies to me. But I was looking at and watching these young mothers, and it was just really, see, I'm not around a lot of babies, obviously, huh? Because I was very much intrigued by it. To see them with the baby, see them, um, you know, what am I trying to say? See them with their children, I mean, with the babies, and just be around babies, period. For me, that's not my normal. That's not my normal. So I'm always, I get excited around because I'm just not around them that much. Not anymore. Not, but I always like it when I am. But I don't tend to hold them because babies can be slippery. You know how they wiggle and all that. So I don't tend. I like for the parents to hold them, and I get to rub their little legs or something like that. I'm good with that. But now when I have our own children, I ain't think nothing of it. But now when they have someone else's kids, I don't tend to hold them because they are wiggly and they slippery. That's what, and next thing you know, they get away from you. Okay, that's how I look at it. Uh, you said I'm hooked. Okay, I'm hooked. Is that what you said, Nanette? Nanette. Okay, your type of mistakes. That's okay. That's okay. Let me give you number 2. Let me give you guys number 2. Okay, number 1. I said, well, see, I told you I have to. What time is? Oh my goodness, I'm going to speed up. Okay, seek support. Like I said before, um, when I went through a loss, I went to see a therapist. I probably should have went longer than I did because after I thought, I said, "Oh, I'm doing okay." I probably wasn't. I probably thought I was, but I probably wasn't. Seek support. Talk to friends, family, or therapists. Sharing your experiences and feelings can provide comfort and perspective. Okay. That was number 2. Number 3, stay positive. This isn't always easy, ladies and gentlemen. When you're going through situations, the easiest thing to do is to be negative. And boy, don't I know it. I would tell any of you, the easiest thing to do is be negative. So you want to stay positive with whatever you're dealing with because we exude positive energy. When you're negative, you exude negative energy. And I promise you, nobody wants to be around that. And when you're doing that, you're actually running people away from you. When you're all that negative energy, it's depressing. It doesn't do any good anyway. That's what I've learned about negative energy. It does no good. At least with positive energy, you're going in a positive direction. That's really what that is. Also, let me see. Focus on the positives in your life and the potential opportunities that change can bring. Practice grateful daily. And I don't do this as much as I need to. And I mean, I practice being grateful daily, but I haven't gotten to the habit of journaling and writing it down. I do it, but I'm not consistent. And I need to get more consistent with it, with writing these things down of how, whatever you're feeling, but to write it down. Journaling is therapeutic. For those of you that journal, you know how therapeutic journaling can be. To write things down, it means a lot, more than you know, really. Um, establish a routine. Establish a routine. Creating a new creating a new routine can provide structure and stability, helping you to adapt more easily to changes. One thing I would encourage you changing jobs, to still stay in contact with your friends from your other job. When I changed schools, I still stayed in contact with my friends from my other school. I never lost contact with them because I changed jobs. There's too much technology to lose contact with anybody nowadays, truthfully. So you want to make sure you stay in contact with them. Set realistic goals. Set realistic goals. That means break down your tasks and set achievable goals. This can help you feel more in control and motivated. Everybody got that? So, this is what I would encourage. If you know that there's something you need to do, break it down into manageable tasks. For instance, I have something I need to do right when I get off today. And the manageable task is I have to go on and just do one of those activities. I have to do two activities today. And that's my goal, is to go on and do these two activities. So I know that these are two things I need to focus on. It's not all I have to do, but I've got to do those two things today. So those are something to be in a manageable task, something I can actually handle and do and review, that kind of thing. But I have to write things down. I don't know. I'm still struggling with trying to put things in my phone. I haven't got to where that's where I put everything at yet. I'm just not there yet. I still write things down to this day, even though my sons have said, well, Mom, why do you write stuff down? You have a phone. Why do you use paper at all? And I think a lot of it is because that's what I know. So I still write things down. I still have calendars, all that. I have not changed from that because that works for me. That's another thing. Do what works for you. Whatever that is, do that. If the phone works for you, your cell phone works for you, do that. If writing things down work for you, do that. But I think we need to do whatever works for us. And you don't have to do what works for somebody else. Do what works for you. And that's all you have to do. That's not it. I want to say that's it, but that's something to keep in mind. Next, so I don't want to lose. Well, we're not too, but we're pretty good on time now. I thought we were getting behind, and I want to finish. I'm trying to finish each topic the day we're in. We actually have a guest speaker coming at the next show. Okay. Mm, Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Prioritize self-care by eating well, exercising, and getting enough sleep. Physical well-being supports mental health. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Just take care of yourself. I'm guilty of it. I was supposed to go out walking this morning. I didn't go out walking this morning, so my goal is to go walking this evening or walking sometime today, just to get out in the sun and get some fresh air, that kind of thing. I know I have a neighbor. She walks every single day, twice a day. Every single day, twice a day. I know I'm gonna see her. And it's not that she walks far, but she walks and she gets out and she gets fresh air and she gets her exercise every single day. So I would encourage you. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know what she does on the weekends, but I see her during the week. She literally walks 5 days a week. That I do know. And she has a little dog, so she walks with her dog. Sometimes she doesn't. I did notice that. Sometimes the dog isn't with her. But most time the dog is with her. But I would tell you, even if it's walking, I'm going to do a series about how important it is just walking. We think, you have to get on the treadmill, you got to do this. That's really not true. You can get exercise by walking. It's a low impact, and it's something everybody can do. For the most part, everybody can do. So taking care of yourself has to be a priority. Not just for you, but you're doing it for your family too. When you take care of yourself, you're taking care of yourself for your family, your friends, for generations to come. It's when you take care of you. Stay connected. Oh, let me see. Before I go back to stay connected, I want to make sure I didn't miss it. Okay. Stay connected. Maintain relationships and social connections. Isolation can exacerbate feelings of stress and uncertainty. They've done studies. I think I've seen those of you on the email list. I've done some studies on loneliness and how you can die from loneliness. We don't always talk about that. How if you're not connected to people, you can die. Not just and that's and also if you have a pet, you will live longer with a pet. You will live longer. Um, let's say you are in a group. You guys go on vacations together, or you go to picnics, or you go to plays, or whatever the group does together. You will live longer. That's a fact. These are facts. They've done enough studies to know you in some way stay connected to society by staying involved with what's with the people and things going on in your world. It doesn't have to be anything big. It just has to be a connection, and it can be family, it can be friends, um, it can be any of those things. It's not limited. A friend of mine, I don't know if she's on. She is a synchronized swimmer, and I think that is so beautiful. Her and her sister, they synchronize swimming. Think about that. And they, do the where they dive down and they turn around. I don't even know how they do the stuff they do, but they do it. But they are trained on how to do that. Because to me, when you go down, I would think I'm afloat. I'm not going to be able to stay down. All those things, but they have methods of how they're able to do it, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that they can even do it, but they love it. And as long as it's something you love, this is what I think. It never seems like work when you love it. It doesn't. When you love something, you're just thankful to be able to do it. You're grateful to be able to do it. But it does not seem like work. So just kind of keep that in mind. Next, where am I? Take care of yourself. Stay informed. You may say, what does that mean? That means you want to, I'm not saying you have to watch the news every day. Definitely don't want to tell you that, because a lot of the news is like, ugh, I can only take so much of it. I'm going to speak for me. I have a very, I'm going to say 30 minutes a day. Sometimes I try to watch the national news. I can only take so much. I can't take anymore. So I would tell anybody, if you're watching the news, don't make it you watch it 24/7. It's too much negativity. Don't do that. I wouldn't do it. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but I would not suggest watching the news 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's just too negative. That's really what it, in my opinion. Very, very few of the what I notice. It's just not a lot of positivity on the news. That's what I notice. And if somebody knows something different, please share it with me, because I don't care what it is I'm watching. It's that sensationalism they're looking for to keep you drawn in, to keep you watching that station. And all of that it becomes negative energy. Nanette, you said, I found an old saying, my nose is itching. Someone's coming with a hole in their britches. That is what I heard my grandmother all the time. I remember that. Excuse me, I don't know what that means, but I remember that. Now, the other one I used to hear all the time, I remember this, and that is when your right hand is itching, the palm of your right hand, just means you're going to get some money. Your left palm of your left hand, that means you're going to get a letter. That's what I've heard. You tell me if you heard that one too. That one was like, I'm like, okay. So, all righty. Is that what you heard too from they call them old wives' tales. I think that's what they call. I don't know. I can't speak on them. I just know that I grew up hearing them. But I must admit, ladies and gentlemen, that one on the right hand itching, the palm of your right hand itching, very few times has that one been wrong. Very few. Think about what I'm saying. If the palm of my right hand is itching, I tend to get some money from somewhere. I tell you, I can't speak on it. I can just tell you the palm of the. I can speak. That's just they call them old wives' tales. I can't say it's right or wrong, but I have noticed that when that one does come true. I would say about 80% of the time. I don't want to say 100%, but I say about 80%. I don't know where that one came from, but who knows who made all these things up? Who knows? I have no clue. Okay, we are on our next one on the Stay Informed. Gathering information about your situation, but avoid information overload. Wow. So, whatever that situation you're dealing with, get information, but you can get too much information. And what happens, in my opinion, you stagnate. You don't do anything because you have, as they said, information overload. Knowledge can help you feel more prepared and less anxious. I agree. I agree. So that's the next. I mean, that one was stay informed, but you can't overdo it. The next one, this is number 9. Be patient. Did you guys see the what I think I put it up, and it says, oh no, maybe I didn't. I thought I did, and it was be patient. Was it be patient? Oh, I guess I didn't. Hold on. This is the office one. That was the first one. That's the number. If you ever want to reach me, call that number. So for anyone that's trying to, for whatever it is you need, just call either myself or one of somebody from the team will connect you. But it was to be patient. I thought I put that. Oh, it must be up here. Here it is. And it was this one. Be patient, be persistent, and be positive. I should put be in front of all of those. Be patient, be persistent, and be positive. In life, that's a life one that I was just putting up for you guys. That I'm guilty of this. Definitely guilty of not being those things. By the way, of not being patient, not always being persistent. I think sometimes I get one thing, oh, it's not going to work or whatever, and being positive. So those are things you definitely want to do. Be patient, be persistent, and be positive. Okay. And we have a couple more to go over. And then I'm going to talk to you about, I think I've mentioned this to you guys. I can't remember if I did. On August the 17th is the Black Family Reunion in Los Angeles and National Council of Negro Women. I'm the past president for the Riverside section. Riverside didn't have one for almost 30 years, and so I reinstigated that one. I restarted it. I'm really proud of that. We have 53 members strong. It is it's an honor. It is an honor. When I go into meetings, I literally want to cry. I want to cry. When you have 20, let's say in a meeting there's 25 people. There's actually 53 in our section, but you never get 100% at a meeting. That's just not realistic, but 53 have paid their membership, but you may have 20 to 25 at a meeting. So basically 50%. But it's really showing there was a need. There was a need in Riverside to have this. So that's where I get really inside overwhelmed because I'm so excited for Riverside to have a section. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's my commercial. So anyway, and we're going to go on because we have 2 more. I just want to go over these 2 with you because I don't want to lose track of time. The next thing you know, I don't give you those 2. Okay. And they are, I did say be patient, right? Oh, okay. Adjusting to a new normal takes time, allowing yourself to adapt at your own pace without pressure. I don't think I've done that well because normally I pressure myself. I don't think there's anybody pressuring me. I'm pressuring me. I think that's it more than anything. I'll be the first to admit that. There's it may not be someone outside of me. It's just me thinking, oh, you should have this done by now, that done. And that does and a lot of times there is no deadline. It's only one's going on in my head. That's the deadline. There is no outward deadline. There's no one out there making me do it. It's not like that. It's me wanting to do it. It's me wanting to finish something or whatever the case may be. So some of your deadlines, I don't know about you, but mine are self-imposed. Self-imposed. So just about, I don't know if that's how you feel like yours are too. I don't know. Are they self-imposed? And then sometimes maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually maybe deadlines that are not self-imposed. But most of mine, I have to honestly say, have been self-imposed. Like I said before, I changed schools. No one made me do it. When I went from the middle school to the high school, there was no demand that I make that change. I wanted to make a change. So I applied for another job at the high school. That's pretty much it. There was a job opening. I saw it and I applied for it. I actually did not think I got the job. That's another thing, ladies. I remember the lady said after the interview, I said, well, how will you find out if you receive the job? And she said, we'll call you if you get the job. I'm like, okay. So they didn't call. So I didn't get the call. This is how this went. I did not get a call. And they told me they'll call you by such and such a day. If you don't get a call, you didn't get the job. And I've interviewed for enough jobs to know. If I didn't get the call, I didn't get the job. So, I'm going to go back to Nanette. And so I went back to work. That's how I look at it. I said, oh, you didn't get the job? You didn't get the job. How many times have we applied for jobs and you don't get them? Let's just be honest. So when I didn't get it, I just decorated my classroom and went to work. I got the call, was it 2 days later or something like that? Then I got the job. And I asked the lady, I said, I thought you said we would know by this day. And she said, I could not call you because I was so busy talking to the people that didn't get the job. I said, but I thought you said you only call if you got the job. She said, but they were calling. I had so many people calling about the job. And I said, but I never called. Think about it. And she said that day, she said, you're the only person that didn't call. And I was like, you're kidding. She goes, nope. You're the only one. And she said, I'm so glad to see you get the position. But I told her, I asked at the interview, so I knew how it was going to go. So I'm saying that to say, sometimes you just have to believe. But I'll be the first one that I believe. I accepted the fact, whether I got it or not. It wasn't even, if I didn't get it, I'd already accepted that. And I was okay with it. I kind of was like, okay, however this happens, that's fine. I'm not going to, what could you do? You can't make people give you a job. But I remember that feeling of, okay, then maybe I'm supposed to teach. And that's it. And don't worry about it. And that's where I had to come back to being aware of me. Of sometimes things work out the way you want them to. Sometimes they don't. And that's part of it too. And this is the last one, ladies and gentlemen. It says, find meaning and purpose. It's a big one. Engage in activities that give you a sense of purpose. Volunteering, hobbies, or pursuing other interests can provide fulfillment and direction. I don't even know how to describe this one because it's so close to my heart. Many of you know I started writing movies, and now I'm looking at producing them, and it's a whole nother arena. I will say that. But I will say this. It's not work. It's not work. I love it. You grew up watching the news with my father. It's Nanette. My father, and he would teach me how to dissect what is being said and what is not being said. I love it. I love it. And he said, I do about 30 minutes of local news and 30 minutes of national news. I'm going to tell you, Nanette, that's all I can really handle. Because if you notice that the local news repeats itself, anybody notice that? I've noticed it. Yes. And this, she said, be aware is what I like from watching the news. Yeah, I like that. It's true. But you have to, as you said, look at what is being said and look at what is not being said. See, that's another whole dynamic I could tell you on that. And I'm gonna do a quick commercial because we're down to 5 minutes. If you have not already subscribed to the show, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the Mary D Talk Show. I am live, thankfully, every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. It has been an honor to be on for, I think it's getting close to 4 years. I think. I want to look. I have to look and see. But it has been an honor. Anytime I can come before you, I just want to thank all of you because your being here tells me that, yes, I need to be here. That's really what it does. It's interesting. Sometimes I don't always get to go back and see how many viewers and things like that. And don't ever think it doesn't matter. Anybody that is on and think they don't look at how many viewers, they're not telling the truth. Because I do. I look at I used to give myself a day because the system has to catch up. Because I used to look at the end of the show and I look and I go, oh, it wasn't that many people watching. Then I go back the next day and then I see that the numbers hadn't come in. You are special, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you know my story, how I stared at the computer for almost an hour and I would not hit the go live button. I would not. I was scared. I was afraid. But I said, well, who cares what I think about anything? Who cares about my hanging out here? Who cares about my opinion? Who cares if I say I did so much of who cares? And then I said, okay. But the truth is, which I didn't want to admit to anyone, I was scared. That was the truth. I was so afraid if I hit the go live that I'm not going to be well received. And what did I know? And who did I, like they say, who did I think I was? And all of that, that's in me too. All that is in me too. I don't want anybody to get any misconceptions because it is. Every time I come on now, I come on with such happiness. No more fears. I don't think I have. I'm not saying they're gone, but not. No, they're there. They're like they simmer. I'll say that, and it keeps you going. It keeps you vibrant, but not as I did before when I sat there and expected the show to come on without me hitting the go live button. I don't think like that. I only have 1 minute. Oh my goodness. So as I go on this journey, I'm going to take you guys with me. I've finished 2 movies and I'm writing a play. So those are the ones I finished, but I want you to share that with you and I will. Oh, I see you come on. Oliver, I'm sorry. Oliver says, hi, audience. Thank you for joining the show. Hi, babe. Antonio came on. Hi, Antonio. He said, hi, Oliver. And we have 1 minute. And then Antonio said, congratulations. Thank you, Antonio. I'm going to take you guys with me from the writing of the movie to all the way till you guys see it on either TV or on a I don't know where it'll be. I can't say it'll be at the movies. I don't want to go that far. But more than likely on one of the streaming services like BET or Tubi or one of those like that. But I love you guys. As I said before, you can reach me through the email, through the number I put up, the 619-669-8603. You can call, you can write, any of those things. Thank you for coming to the show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bye, everybody. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.